camp. We just got word that they're in the camp, not the eminent domain camp, but actually within the Army Corps Engineers permitted place, Chetty Shakoi camp. You want to talk about what happened yesterday?
Yeah, so yesterday there were about 200 peripheral protectors that went into a quadrant next to the Dakota Access site where they're constructing new sacred grounds, and the police used brute force and tear gas and mace to separate the group. They were trying to form a no surrender line around the elders, women, and children to get the women and children out. A police officer...
The protectors are trying to get the women and children out, so
yeah.
they put a protection line around them?
They linked arms and formed a line around them. And while they were out there, the police continually tried to push them back. There was some police officers that specifically were running out and football tackling some of the media, some of the protectors, and members of the International Indigenous Youth Council were out there, and they were trying to take out a 9-year-old boy who had gotten separated from his grandparents and his auntie. His older sister was on the top of the hill. She was 12 years old and she was crying, saying she wanted to go back for her brother. A member of our youth council named Joseph White Eyes was talking to her, so when he heard that there was more youth and more of our youth council members, he ran back, and he was one of the last that was arrested yesterday as he was working on diverting the police's attention in an attempt to get the elders, women, and children out. One member of our youth council had a few broken bones in her wrist and her fingers because she caught a baton when the police were trying to push her back. She was protecting the 9-year-old boy that the little girl had been crying for. So she was able to make it out with the little boy, and they, like I said, they separated the group. About 50 people were able to walk out. They collected another 30, rounded them up. From what my little sister said, they were herding them like cattle, trying to keep them in one place. And like I said, there was one police officer in particular that had been tackling people to the ground, including a woman by the name of LaFleur, who is a journalist and photographer. They took her camera. They also took other media cameras. They're pretty much just trying to make sure that no one can see what it is they're up to. And
did they give that footage back?
I'm not aware at this time, but I spent about 14 hours yesterday communicating with Morton County, Dickinson County, Mercer County, Fargo. I mean, the list is like probably 6 or 7 counties deep. That they said that they could not legally hold all of the protectors that they arrested at the Morton County Jail, so they sent them to other counties. I personally believe that they did it as an act, kind of to teach us a lesson and send people as far away as possible to make it harder for us to get them back. But I did stay out until about 3 a.m. collecting the members of the youth council that had been arrested for trespassing and engaging in a riot. They were not engaging in a riot. They were trying to protect men, women, and children, get them out of there. Our protectors had already vacated the premises when they were alerted that there were more women, children, and elders. One of the grandmas that was arrested yesterday got confused when she was walking out with the peripheral protectors. She thought that somebody had said that there was a line for coffee and that there was coffee somewhere, and so she walked over and ended up in front of the police on in front of the line that they had formed against the protectors, and she was arrested because she couldn't run out fast enough, even though the youth tried to help her out. So like I said, Joseph White Eyes was one of, I think he said, 4 young men that hung back to make sure that they tried to slow down the police long enough to get the women, children, and elders out.
So they were trying to protect them and get those people out of there. Now, you mentioned an officer tackling people. Did they give you his information onto who that was so there can be accountability for who's doing what out there?
There's no information about any of those police officers. They show up, they don't reveal their badges, they don't reveal their names, and they've changed their uniforms so we can no longer identify them by specific insignia. We do have some footage on the Sacred Stone page about, of the officer tackling the woman LaFleur, and I did not get any reports of other footage that had been taken of the officer tackling other water protectors, but I did hear from Joseph Whiteeyes that he was pretty much, they came over the hill with their tank and with their vehicles, and they came rocketing over the hill, and the man jumped out and just began tackling people one by one, taking them to the ground. So
just a show of force, you were saying?
Just as a show of force. I mean, we're not unfamiliar, to the brute force that's used by local and state law enforcement here, nor are we, not aware of the kind of treatment that Native Americans and indigenous peoples globally have been dealing with for millennia. But yesterday, they broke a lot of hearts, and they broke bones, and they're continually trying to break our spirits, but that's impossible.